Now the numbers have released, and we have a negative read here for the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, which is the first negative read since January of this year. The consensus was for a read of 0.33, but now we have a negative 0.21. And the prior month's read, which is for July, has gone from 0.39, revised down to 0.26. So we'll keep you posted on what kind of market impact that does have, but right now it looks to be fairly muted. Also, you mentioned Apple. Trish, the numbers have just come out from Apple. First weekend iPhone sales topped 10 million. So 10 million is that number that we're watching. Apple says sales for iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus exceeded views, but keep in mind here that a lot of analysts say that this 10 million number, this weekend sales number, is more an indicator of supply than demand, because you had, you had a couple of questions about Apple's ability to execute on complex production challenges, according to BTIG. This number, the 10 million, is really a way to prove that Apple can execute on that. They also mentioned that shares normally have a fairly muted reaction to these first weekend numbers as well. People want to see how it plays out in the longer term. But again, Apple has sold over 10 million new iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Pluses. Apple shares, in terms of the market reaction here, surged up and have now come back down again. They are still higher on the morning, the pre-market up by about 0.3%. But as the analysts have pointed out, the reaction so far is fairly muted.
Just incredible, though, that they topped 10 million, because as we were saying, the expectation was for somewhere around 9. There was some concern because they wouldn't be selling in China, that they weren't going to do as well. But really a pretty impressive number. A new record here, we should point out, Scarlett. And you wonder what this tells you about the overall economic global environment that we're living in right now, where people feel that they need to go out and buy this new phone the weekend it comes available.
Well, as long as the product is what people expected and it's something as high profile as Apple, people are willing to go out and do just that. I want to add another headline that's come out as well. Apple says the iPhone will be available to over 20 additional countries starting on September 26th, which is this Friday. So look for those weekend numbers to accelerate, as well as Apple looks to broaden the reach of these devices. As you mentioned, China was not included at the introduction, so there were some concerns that perhaps the number would be disappointing. But as of right now, Apple has sold over 10 million new iPhone 6 and 6 Pluses.